So let's talk now for a little while about intentionality. Intentionality is the way I'm calling the work of a disciple that intentionally, with purpose and with a plan, with a strategy, tries to achieve certain accomplishments for the kingdom. Many times, especially in the organic phase, disciples are used to just let things happen or see when things happen and just cooperating with what God is doing, which is a typical part in the development of a young disciple. As disciples grow in their faith, God starts dealing differently with them, and God starts giving the disciples freedom to make their own choices to reach the goals that they already know that God wants them to reach. You know, there's a different growth development when a small child needs constant specific instructions of yes and no, or of do's and don'ts. And later, when children are older, teenagers don't need a constant daily, every constant minute permission or forbidden for everything they do, because they understand already the heart of the father and the mother, and they know their duties, and they know what will please and not please their parents. So disciples that are at the level of stepping up into multiplication, into building a community, they have already this understanding, and mostly, of course, it's not a rule, but mostly they already understand what God's will is. So at this point is when they have to be intentional in their planning and in their involving God into the work that they are carrying out. To give you an example, when Israel was coming into the Promised Land, and the dynamics between God and Israel changed. In the desert, there was a constant direction of God. There was a column of fire, of smoke, and constant revelation. They didn't have to ask God anything. God would just say, do this, do this, do this. And there was provision. When they stepped into the Promised Land, it all stopped. And now God will not direct them on how they had to fight. He would wait that they would call out on Him. Say, Lord, what shall we do here? No, it didn't matter how big or small the enemy was. And the provision stopped, and now they were supposed, from their work in the kingdom, to get provision for themselves. So you see a change in dynamics, and a disciple that steps into this level of work when they are going to reach out to different peoples and to different maybe people groups, target groups, it's important that they understand that this time it's God waiting for them to make the choices of where they are going to and to be actively involved. Of course, they need to seek God's direction anyway, but now there's a level of responsibility and expectation. Now God is expecting something of them. So at this point, it's important that strategic planning comes into picture, that the disciples can come together as a family, but also as a team, and to praise God. Who do you want us to go to? Where do we need to reach out to? And to involve, of course, the revelation of God also with their own will and their own active desire of achieving what the apostolic mission implies. So this is just a very short explanation of what I mean by intentionality. And this intentionality is going to add a different dynamics into the meetings of the group. And I'm going to explain those different aspects that you can add to your meetings, how the 3/3 now will change to a different, completely different structure, so that the disciples are more equipped and ready to take action. So read the document below and see you in the next lesson.